Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm very excited to share a review of this bag over here, and this is the Lady Dior. I want to share some of the research I did prior to getting this bag and some of my experiences using this bag, so hopefully it'll be helpful to decide if this bag is the right bag for you. So I'm just going to start with an overview of this bag, and this bag is the denim blue carnage lambskin Lady Dior in medium. Okay, so basically the carnage, it refers to the pattern of the bag, I think, and lambskin is the material of the bag, and this color is called denim blue, and I believe denim blue is a seasonal color according to the shop assistant, so they might not be making this for a long time. I'm not sure about that. So as you can see outside, there's some gold hardware as well. The charms here are also in gold, and I'm going to show you the inside of the bag. This is what the inside of the bag looks like. This is a suede lining. So as you can see, the inside is just a big space without any partition. Then inside there are two pockets, which I would not really consider pockets. Maybe they're just like added in for fun because they are actually so flat. They are so flat, you can't even put anything inside. This one is just an open flap, and this one comes with a zip. So that is the overview of the bag. Now let's talk about the price, and I think that's the most important factor people want to know when buying a bag. At least for me, it was the biggest factor. So this bag is $7,000, and that is a pretty expensive bag. It is really comparable to, I think, Chanel. And I believe they just hiked up their price like a few months ago. I think they just hiked up their price before the lockdown ended, or at least the lockdown in Singapore ended, I think, in July. I think they just hiked down their price. So yeah, it's a pretty expensive bag, but I think that this bag does hold its value, and what I mean by that is it will not go out of style. So this bag has been around since, I believe, 1995, and they have been producing this bag in many colors, and every time they have a new collection. So I believe currently they're having their Dior Amour collection, and they have this bag in red, and they also have it in fabric. So basically the style of this bag is unlikely to go out of fashion, but yeah, it's still pretty pricey, and I think you can buy it. I think if ever I get tired of the bag, I can sell it online and get back a decent price for it, especially if this color stops being in production. But this is my first designer bag, so I don't think I will ever sell it, but you know, it's just good to know. It's just good to know. Okay, so now I'm going to share some of the reasons why I decided to get this bag out of all the other designer bags. So my biggest concern was space. And if you see, like what I showed you just now, the Lady Dior is very big. Or at least there's a lot of space inside. I was also considering the Chanel Trendy CC, but the Trendy CC has a lot of separations, compartments in the bag, so I can't put what I want to put inside. So now I'm just going to show you what you can fit in the bag and what I usually bring out. So first of all, the biggest item is always my water bottle, and this is a 500 ml water bottle that I always carry with me. Just last night I went to a restaurant and they wanted to charge me $1 for water. So I was like, no thank you, because I was carrying this in my Dior. So I'm just going to put this in here. So I'm going to put this in. Obviously, I also carry my wallet, and this is actually a small wallet. I think if you have the longer wallets, it can fit in as well. So I have my wallet. I have my wet tissue, dry tissues, car keys, sunglasses. You can see that everything fits and there's still some space to spare, so sometimes I bring extra things. Maybe if I wanted to bring my lipstick, I can fit it in as well. If I wanted to bring my earpiece, I could also fit it in as well. But of course, once I come home, I take everything out because I don't want to sag the bottom. So far, it has been holding up pretty well, so you can see it's pretty flat and the feet still keep it off the ground. But of course, I don't want to risk it, so I try not to overload the bag as well. So yeah, when I'm at home, I take everything out. Okay, now I want to show you this item, which I also keep in my bag at all times, and this is just a shopping bag, a reusable shopping bag, and no, I do not use it for shopping. So it's very ugly and it looks like this, and I do not use it for shopping. Why I keep this in my bag is because my bag is not waterproof. So this leather, this very delicate lambskin leather, I always want to make sure it is protected when it is raining and when I'm in restaurants or when I'm in hawker centers. Anywhere I am, I always want to make sure that this bag is well protected. So what I do is, I would just take this bag, and when I'm in like restaurants, especially when there's soups, I always make sure to cover it so that any splashes will not stain the bag. And when it's raining, I just put the entire bag inside here, and I'll just carry it like this. So this is just to make sure that the bag is protected at all times, because we do not want to waste our money. So now I want to talk a little bit about the material of the bag and why I decided to get the lambskin rather than the patent leather. So if you've been to Dior or you've seen outside, they do have this patent leather, which is a very shiny leather, and I believe that is not lambskin, that is a cow leather, and it has a very shiny gloss over it. So I initially wanted to get that bag. I wanted to get the bag in that material, but I decided against it for two reasons. One is, when I was researching the bag online, they have this problem called cracking, and I'm not sure exactly what it is, but apparently it happens to all leather products with gloss on it. So I don't want my bag to crack. I think from what I saw, I believe is when the leather gets stiff underneath, and so it starts to separate. The second and more important reason is because the sales assistant actually told me that this type of bags get sticky after a while, and I'm not sure why it gets sticky, but I think it's because the gloss starts to melt. I'm not sure what exactly is the chemical process that's happening with the gloss, but the whole bag gets sticky, and she said there's nothing they can do about it. She said especially in humid and hot climates, it can happen in as fast as 1 to 2 years. And that is ridiculous for a $7,000 bag. I live in Singapore, so it's hot and humid all the time, and I'm not going to buy a special case just to keep my bag. So I decided I will not get that, even though the good thing about the patent leather is that it is waterproof and it's more scratch proof than this one. So it's definitely more sturdy initially. So I decided to get. So I still decided to get this lambskin instead, even though it's much more delicate. But so far I would say that I've used it, and even if your nail goes scratch like that, of course it is not going to have any marks, but I have not tried to use force and scratch my back because we're trying to keep this until I die, or at least even past the day I die. So far I don't think I take extremely good care of the bag, but there are no scratches. At least I cannot see any scratches. The only little scuffs I can see is where the hardware are in contact with each other. So over here, if I look really closely, I can see the metal scratches. But apart from that, no, it looks like brand new to me. Okay, so far that is all for the material. So now I want to talk about the changes from the older versions of Dior to these newer versions, which I believe they just changed it recently. So if you look at the opening of this bag, it's simply a flap. You just put your hand in and open it like that. So the previous older versions of Dior, it used to be a zip down the middle, and the zip used to be very tight. So basically, from the research that I've done, you have to put your hand like this and squeeze it into the bag. So you can't put bigger things, like definitely my water bottle would not be able to fit inside. Another difference from the older versions and the newer versions is the strap. And I'm going to show you the strap over here. This is what the strap looks like. And as you can see, this strap is adjustable and it has a buckle. The previous Diors came with a strap that is a standard length and you cannot adjust the length. So that meant that you could only carry the Dior on your shoulder one side like that, because from what I've heard, it is too short to carry crossbody like this. But with this adjustable strap, actually I've adjusted it to a length that is good for me to carry on one side and to carry crossbody. If the strap is still too long for you, Dior also provides a service where they will punch extra holes in the strap for you. So, it's much better than just having it a standard length. I'm going to show you the leather straps. Actually, you hook it on here. One in front and one behind. And it's designed in such a way that when you carry it, the handles are always upright. So it just looks nice, but it does mean it's a little more inaccessible when you want to take your stuff. But I think it's fine. So I still like it. I believe this change took place recently, so I think it was like this year or last year. I'm not very sure, because some people who bought the bag last year, or at least the reviews on YouTube that came out last year, they're still talking about the zip opening. So it has changed to this. Some people maybe prefer the zip because it is more secure. Definitely for this, I can just slip my hand in and take out anything, but that's not a big concern for me, so I prefer this opening. So another thing I want to talk about is the maintenance of the Dior. So of course, if possible, they tell you to keep it out of direct sunlight and also in a drier place, because you don't want it to get moldy, and putting it under harsh lights or the sun can also cause some discoloration in the leather. So the bag that was in the display that was under the harsh light, it looked like a much different shade of blue. You have to keep it somewhere where it is safe, and actually they gave quite a nice dust bag to keep your bag in, so I don't have a problem with that. Dior also has this service where you can bring your bag back to Dior shop and they will send it for maintenance. Like, I believe they will clean your bag and polish the metal parts. I'm not very sure what exactly they do because I have not done it yet. Apparently it's for a lifetime. This, what the shop assistant told me, is lifetime and it's free of charge. So it is recommended that if I use the bag very often, I should bring it back about 3 months. And if I don't use the bag that often, I should bring it back maybe twice a year. So depending on what you prefer. Also, when you send your bag there for maintenance, it takes about 1 week before you can have your bag back, which I don't mind. So I will just make sure to send my bag there for maintenance as much as necessary. I think this is a pretty good service because bag maintenance outside is not cheap. It can also cost about $100, I believe. I'm not sure if any other brands provide this service. I'm pretty sure LV doesn't, because my wallet is from LV and I don't think they have ever said such service existed. Oh, another thing I want to mention about this bag is that even though it is pretty big and it is made of leather, it is not super heavy, so it still has some significant weight. But that means that when I carry it out or when it's filled with things, it doesn't cause me to be uncomfortable so quickly. I still bring this out for the entire day and mostly I'm fine. So that is all for my review of the Dior bag. I would highly recommend it to anybody who's considering getting a high-end bag. And yeah, I've been using it for a while and I really love it, and I'll probably continue to use it and make sure I get my money's worth out of it. So thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!